She called a stranger daddy, and meant it. Rick Morgan, retired CEO, cut his steak in silence. He didn't see the little girl sprinting toward him. Chloe wrapped her arms around his waist and looked up. Her voice rang out, "This is a... Daddy!" The room froze. Forks hung in midair. A waitress gasped. Rick's eyes narrowed. Across the floor, Monica dropped her tray. Plates shattered. She rushed forward, panic in her breath. "Chloe, no!" she whispered, tugging her back. Chloe clung tighter. "Mom, that's him." Rick took a step back, cold, confused. "Who the hell are you?" he asked. Then to the manager, "Call security. Now, shte." Murmurs. A phone camera clicked. Back in the break room, Monica stood in silence. Her manager's voice cut sharp across the space. "You embarrassed a guest. A high-profile one. You're lucky he didn't press charges." Monica nodded, eyes on the floor. She didn't speak. Her hands trembled behind her apron. "You're on warning," the manager snapped, then walked off. Monica exhaled slowly. Her jaw tightened. She turned and saw Chloe waiting by the sink, swinging her feet. Chloe looked up. "Are you mad because I called him Daddy?" Monica paused. She knelt beside her daughter, brushing crumbs from Chloe's cheek. "No, baby. I just..." Her voice cracked. Chloe blinked. But he felt real. Monica stared at her, unsure what to say. What if the biggest mistake wasn't a mistake at all? The rain came light at first, then steady. Monica held Chloe close under her coat. They walked fast. No umbrella, no ride. The streetlights flickered against wet sidewalks. Each step made a soft slap in her torn shoes. The sole peeled at the heel. Her sock was soaked. Chloe sniffled. "My feet are cold." Monica shifted her weight, lifting her daughter. "Hold on, baby, we're almost there." Water dripped from Monica's bangs into her eyes. She blinked it away. They passed a lit bakery, warm, dry. Inside, the little girl sipped cocoa. Chloe stared, then looked away. Monica tightened her grip. She whispered more to herself than her daughter. "We're okay. Just keep moving." Her shoulder ached. Her shoes squished. But she didn't stop. She walked through storms, so her daughter wouldn't feel the rain. The apartment was quiet, damp walls, one dim lamp, a leaky faucet tapped in the background. Monica sat on the floor with Chloe wrapped in a towel. She stirred a bowl of oatmeal, cold from earlier. No milk, just water and salt. Chloe took a bite. Didn't complain. She leaned into her mother's shoulder. Monica brushed a curl from her daughter's forehead. "Still hungry?" Chloe shook her head. The window whistled with wind. Monica reached over, shutting it tight with effort. Then softly she whispered, "As long as you're safe, I'm okay." Chloe looked up, eyes full but shameless. Monica smiled, tired, small. She kissed her daughter's cheek, held her close. Some nights the strongest thing she fed her child was the feeling of being loved. The house was silent, too big for one man. Rick poured a drink, no ice, just bourbon and memory. He sat in his leather chair, one hand on the glass, the other holding a photo, faded edges, gentle eyes. Grace. She smiled in that picture like she knew something he didn't. He stared at it for a long time. "I should have said yes," he muttered. "To the baby." His thumb brushed the glass frame. "If we'd had a child, maybe you wouldn't have faded so fast." The bourbon burned. He didn't flinch. Outside, wind pressed against the windows. He didn't move. Just sat there. One photo. One silence. One man full of what if. He had everything, except the one thing she wished he wanted most. The power flickered, then went out. Monica lit a candle. The flame shook with the wind. Chloe was asleep, curled beneath two blankets. Her small hand clutched the edge of Monica's old sweater. Monica sat on the floor, back against the wall. She opened a torn notebook. Its pages were stained and soft. She wrote slowly. Careful letters, no rush. The pens scratched softly in the quiet. "She's all I have. When the world goes dark, she's still light. She's the reason I exist." Her eyes filled, but she didn't let them fall. The candle flickered low. She covered it with her palm, protected the flame, like she always did. She had nothing left to hold on to, except the one thing she would never let go. Rick sat at his desk, replaying the moment in his mind. That girl's voice, her eyes, the way she ran to him. He opened his laptop, searched the restaurant's security feed, paused on Monica's face, focused, calm, too calm. His jaw tightened. He dialed a number. A voice answered on the second ring. "It's Rick Morgan," he said. "I need a background check." "Name?" Monica Davis works at Greenleaf Cafe, has a daughter. A pause. Think she's scamming you? I don't know, Rick said low, but I'm not taking chances. He closed the laptop, sat still. Outside thunder rolled. Inside his doubt grew louder. He thought it was a setup. What he didn't know was who the trap was really for. Chloe lay on the couch, cheeks flushed. Her breath came fast and shallow. Monica knelt beside her, wiping sweat from her forehead. No school today, she whispered. Just rest, baby. She checked her phone. One missed shift. She texted, Can't come, my daughter's sick. No reply. Later that day, Monica stood on a street corner. Second-hand jackets hung from her arms. A cardboard sign read, $2 each. Anything helps. Wind pushed against her. Her shoes were still wet. People passed. Most didn't stop. She checked her phone again. Still no reply. Back at home, Chloe slept under 3 blankets. A cough broke the quiet. Monica held tighter to the bag of dollar bills. Not enough, but something. She didn't count the cost. She just gave what she had, because love doesn't ask for change. Rick opened the envelope. Thick file, no smile, inside paperwork, scans, records. Monica Davis wasn't her first name. He read slowly. Born Monica Green, ward of the state. Entered foster care at age 4. Transferred, moved, disappeared. One photo clipped to the file. A girl, maybe 12, with tired eyes and a tight smile. Same eyes as Chloe. Another note. Change name at 17, no known family. Rick leaned back. The weight of it sat heavy. Why the change? He asked aloud. No answer, only silence. He tapped the table. Once, twice. This wasn't about a scam, it was something else. Deeper. He closed the folder, slowly, eyes still fixed on her face. You can bury the past, but sometimes it finds its own way back. The bench was cold, hard metal under her back. Monica wrapped her arms around Chloe, pulling her close. The child's head rested on her chest, breath shallow, skin warm. Her fever hadn't broken. Outside the bus station, lights buzzed. Inside, it smelled like coffee and damp concrete. A security guard walked by, glanced, then looked away. Monica held her coat tight around them both. Their bags sat at her feet, 1 shirt, 1 blanket, a bottle of cough syrup. She whispered, Close your eyes, baby, just sleep. Chloe stirred. I'm cold. Monica kissed her forehead. I know. She looked out the window. No home, no lights on, no one waiting, just a mother and child, trying to disappear. She didn't need comfort. She needed one safe night and a place to belong. The motel door creaked when Monica opened it. She glanced down. A folded note sat on the floor. No envelope, just a single line written in red ink. Stay away from Rick Morgan if you want to stay alive. Her hands tightened around the paper. Her heart raced, but her face stayed still. She looked around the parking lot. No one, just shadows under flickering lights. Inside, Chloe slept, curled under the motel blanket, oblivious, safe for now. Monica tore the note in half, then in half again. She dropped the pieces in the trash and locked every bolt on the door, but sleep never came. She sat in the chair by the window, eyes on the dark. She thought she was running from her past, but something else was now chasing her future. Monica sat at the edge of the bed, arms wrapped around herself. Chloe stirred and then opened her eyes. Mom, her voice was soft, still thick with sleep. Monica turned, smiled through tired eyes. Chloe sat up slowly. Am I why you are scared? She paused. Did I make you unsafe? Monica froze. The words cut deeper than any threat. She reached out, pulled Chloe into her lap. No, baby, never. She kissed the top of her daughter's head. You're the only thing in this world that's good. Tears slid down Monica's cheeks. She didn't wipe them away. Chloe rested against her, silent. Her small hand rested on Monica's heart. She feared 1,000 things, but not the child who gave her a reason to fight them all. Rick sat in the back seat of his car, engine idling, windows tinted. Rain tapped the glass. Across the street, a rundown motel blinked its vacancy sign. Paint peeled from the door frames. A trash bag flapped in the wind. Through one cracked curtain, he saw Monica. She sat at the edge of the bed, holding Chloe close. No TV. No lights but a single lamp. No sound, but the weight of silence pressed through the window. Rick didn't move. His watch glinted in the dim car light. Cufflinks perfect. Shoes polished. Backseat leather. He looked back at the window. 2 worlds, 1 pane of glass. He lowered his eyes. Said nothing. Sometimes the richest man is the one standing furthest from what matters most. The manager called everyone to the back. A delivery had come. Boxes stacked high with fresh produce, dry goods, canned soup. Donation, he said. Anonymous. Said it was for the staff. Monica stood quiet. Her eyes scanned the label. Simple white sticker. Morgan Foundation. Her breath caught. Later, on break, she opened a can of peaches and slid them into a bowl. Soft yellow fruit. Sweet. Warm. She took 2 home that night. Chloe's eyes lit up. Real peaches? Monica nodded. A gift. But later, alone, she sat at the table staring at the empty can. One word echoed. Why? Rick's help meant safety, meant food, but it also meant risk, uncertainty, debt she never asked for. She folded the label, tucked it into her journal, not ready to throw it away. Sometimes kindness feels like a hand reaching out, and other times like a line you're not sure you should cross. The phone buzzed just past midnight. Unknown number. Monica hesitated, then answered. A voice, low, cold. You didn't listen. You're still near him. Last warning. Click. She stood still for a second, then moved fast, pulled the duffel from under the bed, tossed in clothes, medicine, Chloe's drawing. She didn't wake her daughter, just wrapped her in a coat, lifted her gently. Outside the air was sharp. She looked over her shoulder once. No one there. Still felt watched. The streetlights flickered. Her breath turned white in the air. She flagged down a late-night bus. Paid in coins. They sat in the back, Chloe's head on her lap. Monica stared out the window, wide awake. When fear knocks twice, she doesn't wait for the third. The bus rattled down an empty road. Monica sat by the window, eyes on nothing. Chloe stirred in her lap. She looked up, voice small. Mom? Monica blinked. Yeah, baby? Chloe hesitated. Are you sure he's a bad guy? Monica didn't answer right away. The question hung in the air, heavier than the night. Chloe pulled the coat tighter. He didn't look mean. Her voice wasn't accusing, just wondering. Monica swallowed hard. People can look kind and still be dangerous. But what if he's not? Chloe whispered. Monica looked down at her daughter. Those same eyes, the same softness. She didn't respond, just brushed Chloe's hair from her face. Sometimes the hardest part isn't running from danger. It's not knowing who you're running from. Rick opened an old storage box from Grace's study. Dust rose. Inside, letters, notes, photographs. He flipped through them slowly. Familiar faces, forgotten names. Then one photo stopped him. Grace sitting on a bench, smiling gently. Beside her, a young girl with cautious eyes and braided hair. Rick stared closer, froze. It was Monica. He turned the photo over. Grace's handwriting. Monica, age 10. She asked if she could stay forever. His grip tightened. Memory hit hard. Grace had mentioned a girl once. Quiet, bright, from a shelter. He never paid much attention. Now it all came rushing back. He sat down, photo shaking in his hand. Sometimes the past doesn't knock. It walks straight back in, wearing a face you should have remembered. Rick sat in his office, photo still in hand. He called his late wife's lawyer. Quiet urgency in his voice. Did Grace ever mention a girl named Monica? A pause on the other end. Then papers shuffled. Yes, the lawyer said. She sponsored a child years ago, from a group home. He continued reading. She wrote, If anything ever happens to me and you find Monica again, help her. She's family. Rick leaned back, stunned. She really said that? It's in the letter, dated 12 years ago. Rick said nothing, just stared at the wall. 12 years. A promise forgotten. A connection missed. He looked back at the photo. Monica's eyes, Chloe's eyes, same soul, same story. She wasn't just any woman. She was the unfinished chapter Grace begged him to remember. Chloe leaned against Monica's shoulder. They sat on a park bench, wrapped in a borrowed blanket. Mom, Chloe whispered, did anyone ever take care of you? Like you take care of me? Monica smiled softly. There was one. Chloe looked up. She wasn't my mom, Monica said, but she treated me like I mattered, like I wasn't just someone to survive. What was her name? Grace, Monica said, almost in a whisper. She gave me books, warm food, a safe place to sleep. She paused. She told me love wasn't something you earn, it's something you deserve. Chloe smiled. Like how you love me? Monica nodded, voice low. Exactly like that. One woman lit a spark in a forgotten girl. That flame still burns. Passed from mother to daughter. Rick stood beside Noah, head of his security team. They spoke in low voices, away from the staff. We traced the calls, Noah said. They didn't come from Monica, not even close. Rick waited. It's Victor Langston, your old partner. Rick's jaw tightened. Victor, ruthless, bitter, cut from every deal Rick refused to dirty his hands with. He's been watching you, Noah added, and he knows about Monica. Rick looked out the window. Why target her? Noah didn't blink. Because she's close now. And that makes her useful. Or dangerous. Rick stayed silent. A different kind of weight settled in. This wasn't just personal anymore. It was calculated. Sometimes the real enemy isn't who's in front of you. It's who's still playing the game behind the scenes. Monica stood in Rick's office, shoulders tense, her eyes locked on his. No fear this time. Just fire. You used us, she said, voice low but sharp. You made me and my daughter bait. Rick didn't speak. He let her finish. We were just surviving, and now we're in someone's crosshairs, because of you. Chloe stood outside the door with Noah. She couldn't hear, but she watched. Monica took a breath. I trusted the help. I didn't ask for the war. Rick finally spoke. I didn't know it would go this far. But you knew enough, she snapped. Silence fell heavy between them. Rick looked away first. She didn't raise her voice, because truth cuts sharper when it doesn't shake. Rick stepped closer. Not defensive, not proud, just quiet. I'm sorry, he said. Simple. Direct. Monica looked away, jaw clenched. She didn't want to believe him, but she heard it. Rick's voice softened. If I could take it back, I would. Monica blinked fast, then lost the fight. Tears slipped down, quiet and raw. I don't want power, she whispered. I don't want favors. Rick stayed still. I just want my daughter to grow up without fear, to sleep without jumping at shadows, to live like a child, not like a target. Her voice cracked on the last word. Rick nodded slowly. No speech, no defense, just a man listening, finally. Forgiveness doesn't begin with words. It begins when someone stays so long enough to hear the pain. Rick opened a drawer and pulled out an envelope. Worn edges. Grace's handwriting on the front. He handed it to Monica without a word. She hesitated, then opened it carefully. Inside, one page, faded ink. Grace's voice came alive in silence. If you find her, if she ever comes back into your life after I'm gone, take care of her. She is brave even when she's scared. She is light even when the world feels heavy. Her name is Monica, and she is worth every piece of your heart. Monica's fingers trembled. She wrote that? Her voice barely rose above a whisper. Rick nodded once. Monica held the letter to her chest, eyes closed, walls softening. Some bonds begin in silence, and live on in the words we leave behind. Monica sat alone with the letter in her hands. Candlelight flickered across Grace's words. She read it again, slower this time. Each line a breath, each word a wound gently closing. Tears came fast without warning. She didn't wipe them away. Rick stood nearby, saying nothing, just watching her find something he could never give, say no closure. Monica looked up, voice shaking. You might not know how to love, Rick, she said, but you know how to protect. She folded the letter carefully, holding it like it might break, then softer. And that matters, too. Rick didn't respond. He didn't need to. The silence wasn't empty anymore. Forgiveness isn't forgetting the hurt. It's recognizing the effort and choosing to stay. Monica brushed Chloe's hair back as they sat under a quiet sky. The city buzzed beyond the park, but here it felt still. Chloe leaned against her, tired eyes looking up. Are we okay now? She asked. Monica nodded slowly. We're safe. She took a deep breath, words she'd held for too long. You deserve more than just me, baby. Chloe frowned. What do you mean? Monica smiled gently, eyes full. You deserve someone who stands beside you, someone who doesn't leave when things get hard. Chloe whispered, like a dad? Monica nodded. Yes, you deserve a father too, someone who chooses you. Chloe didn't speak. She just reached for Monica's hand and held it tight. A mother's love is the root, but even roots hope for sunlight strong enough to grow beside them. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted over each other. Rick stood at the podium, shoulders straight, eyes steady. Beside him, Monica and Chloe. No makeup, no script, just presence. Rick cleared his throat. The room quieted. I've made a lot of decisions in my life, he said. Some wise, some selfish. He glanced at Monica, then looked back at the press. But today I want to make one thing clear. He placed a hand gently on Chloe's shoulder. This is my family. Gasps, murmurs, camera shutters clicking again. I won't let fear or power games or my past take that from them. He stepped back. No questions, no apology, just truth. The world watches power, but sometimes power is a man finally choosing to protect and not control. Rick held out the envelope, said someday, job offer, full benefits, more than she'd ever made. Monica looked at it, then at him. It says, "You've done enough," she said softly. Rick tilted his head. "It's not charity. You've earned this." Monica nodded, eyes kind but firm. "I'm grateful," she said, "but I don't want my daughter to grow up thinking rescue always comes from someone richer." Rick stayed quiet. Monica placed the envelope back on the table. "I need her to see we can build something on our own, even if it's slower, even if it's small." Rick's expression didn't change, but his eyes softened. "You're sure?" he asked. She smiled. "I just need her to be free. Some offers are generous, but real strength is knowing when you don't need them." The room was small, but bright with laughter. Streamers hung from the ceiling, balloons tied to chairs. In the center, Chloe, eyes wide, cheeks glowing. A chocolate cake sat in front of her. 7 candles flickered. "Make a wish," Monica said, kneeling beside her. Chloe closed her eyes tight, then blew. Cheers erupted. Kids clapped. Someone dropped a plastic cup. Rick stood near the doorway, watching quietly. No suit, just a warm smile. Chloe turned and hugged Monica hard. "This is my best day," she whispered. Monica hugged her back, eyes wet. She looked around. No luxury, no noise, just joy. The kind they had never dared to imagine. It wasn't the cake, the candles, or the crowd. It was the moment she finally felt like she belonged. The party had quieted. Kids ran in circles. Chloe sat on the floor, giggling, frosting on her chin. Monica stood a few feet away, leaning against the doorway. One hand held her coffee. The other wiped a tear she didn't try to hide. She watched Chloe laugh without looking over her shoulder. No fear, no hunger, just childhood. Her voice came low, more to herself than anyone else. "I kept my promise, baby," she whispered. "You're safe, you're happy." Another tear slipped down. Chloe looked up just then, as if she'd heard. She smiled and waved. Monica smiled back, lips trembling, hand pressed to her heart. Some victories don't shout. They sit quiet in a mother's breath when her child no longer has to survive. The sun dipped low, casting gold across the window. Chloe rested on Monica's lap, half asleep, fingers still sticky from cake. Rick sat nearby, quiet, content. No titles, no debts, just presence. No one spoke. There was no need. The moment was enough. Family isn't built by blood. It's built by the ones who stay. Through the silence, the storms, and the small, quiet winds. Monica kissed the top of Chloe's head. She didn't need applause. She just needed this. If you've ever sacrificed for someone you love, leave a comment with 3 simple words, "Me too,"